Well, welcome everybody to Inspired Conversations podcast show with your host, Kim Evans. So excited to be here. We are going to talk money today. I have the fabulous Jasper Smith. He's a financial planner, Mr. Build Wealth. And ladies, get ready. We are going to learn some wonderful tips about how we can continue to grow our finances. So I'm so excited to have him on the show. But before I get started, y'all all know how I like to do. I like to send a blessing out for anyone who's listening to my show. May they be inspired, transformed, educated, and motivated. May these words go on all the 7 continents, including Antarctica. May God reign in this. And I like to always leave it. May you guys be blessed and motivated. Send it out to somebody that you know as far as the east, as far as the west, as far as the north, as far as the south. And I like to always invite God into my podcast show because without him, I am nothing. I want to also send a blessing that all you guys to continue to be prosperous, and also to our very lovely host. May he continue to be on the path of the mission that God has set forth out for him to be very prosperous in his business and every person that he touched in his life. Mr. Jasper, welcome to the podcast show.
What's happening?
Hey, I love it. I am so excited. I remember a few years ago when I met this lovely young man, we was at a fireside chat. And it was in Los Altos or Los Galtos or something like that. And when I met Jasper, I said, wow, this young man is going to be doing things, and I've been following him in the rafters ever since, and just to see where his business is growing and where he's going. I'm so proud of you, Jasper. I am going to just talk just a little bit, and then I'm going to head it back over to you. So let me let you know a little bit about Jasper. He's Mr. Build Wealth. I love that. He's coined that. He's been involved in financial services arena for over 15 plus years. He is the chief visionary behind financial education company called Build Wealth Movement, which he's going to share today. His works tirelessly to disrupt the generational poverty for everyone so that their kids and their kids' kids can live a long life of privilege, and also to build a wealth legacy. Mr. Jasper, take away and let the audience know what you do.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Kim. You know what? When I was trying to figure out how can I help people with understanding the language of money. And when I first started my career, I just didn't see a lot of people who looked like me. Yeah. So it was a natural curiosity as to why I kind of stayed in the financial services arena. And it was just like, man, I see why certain communities have issues with monies because there aren't people who look like them going to those communities to talk.
That's right.
I don't mind those communities. And they usually are my complexion, your complexion, maybe a little darker, a little lighter. But I just saw it as an opportunity to say, well, what could I do to help the culture? Like for real, not for play. Right. Like understanding that the game of money is being played. And some people just didn't get the memo about the rules of engagement. Literally, we never talked about them. We may have worked, maybe earning a decent wage, but nobody ever sat us down and said, let me tell you a little something about this money game.
Yes.
And I over time, I'm not even surprised anymore when I meet somebody who they could be twice my age, who will say, well, nobody ever told me that. Oh, I didn't know I should do that. What? And I said, this has got to stop. These are, I'm thinking about the fundamentals, like the foundation stuff was where people are usually getting tripped up. And I said, if you get the foundation when you build on the house going to be good for a long time. So that same foundation that's used to build a sturdy, stable house, you need that same foundation for your financial plan. And over my career, again, I've talked to people from all walks of life. When that foundation isn't set and it isn't solid, it isn't secure, there's a struggle. Now, you might be able to see that struggle physically, or it's that internal struggle that they might not be talking about that's eating them up every day. So I just started seeing all this stress, and it was like, I gotta help. I gotta help people to figure out how is it that I get from point A to B. I don't know what your A is, Kim, or what B might be, but let's talk it out. Let's figure out where you're at right now. And you'd be surprised, Kim, how many people are afraid to have this talk with me to this day. Afraid.
Right.
These are full-blown adults,
Right.
family people, have done incredible things in their career, in life. But when I ask a question about money, oh no, we can't do that. And so I continuously to fight this battle every day of dealing with the mindset, right? It's this psychology around money. It's the thoughts and feelings that we have towards financial stuff. And I'll just say stuff as the overarching theme here, but there's a lot of stuff that we aren't dealing with, and then we keep kind of pushing under the rug, or close that door. I don't want anybody to know. And so I would encourage people to come out into the light and have this talk. Let's have this conversation. Let's get it off your chest. Let's get it outside your head. Well, I got it all up in my head. Get it out, get it on paper. Get it on a spreadsheet. Get it on an app. Show me what you're really doing and validate that what you're doing is correct. And so as a financial planner, coach, counselor, consultant, however you want to classify me, I'm helping people to do one of two things. I'm helping you to get started on your build wealth journey, or I'm helping you to enhance the journey you're already on.
I like that.
That's all I'm doing. That's
Two.
all I'm doing.
I love that. And, I think the two most complicated questions or issues to talk about is, like you're saying, money, finances, and death and funerals. Because when those two things happen, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Right? People don't want to have those conversations when that exit time comes. And so that you need to be prepared for that. So when it comes, you don't have to pass the hat in church. Right. So
absolutely.
The flip side, in the beginning, if you begin to build your wealth in the 20s and your 30s and your 40s, it rolls in your 50s and your 60s. So let me just first also thank you for that. That's beautiful. Tell us about, what is a foundation? What should a person have in their foundation, in their foundational plan?
I need you first to know how much money you make. And I'm dead serious. Like, I've asked people, how much do you make? You can give me the annual salary. Just give me that people won't even say that. I'm like, how much do you make? You'd be surprised how many people have never looked at their pay stub until tax time. Until like a tax, or like I'm asking for a pay stub in a meeting when we do like a financial plan for somebody. How much is going into your bank account or accounts? And so part of the foundation is knowing what money is coming in. Right.
The net.
You all know money's always going out.
The net. Yeah. I love
so it is at the foundation. I need to know what money is coming in. I need to also know what money is going out. Now, somebody's probably like, you talking about a budget? Yeah, I am. However, my most successful clients aren't the most ferocious budgeters. Let me say that on the record. Now, I know my industry pumps expense worksheets and budgets, and people ask me about apps. Look, if you need them, when you making enough money, you good on like paying your bills, having a little fun, taking a trip, doing what you do. But to really build the foundation like strongly, I need you to try to do like one good time just so you can like really see it. And then we automate a lot of your stuff, and then you'll never have to think about budgeting again. Like that's the goal.
Wait, I love what you just said right there. Automate. Tell us a little bit more about automate, because I think people are afraid of that. Young people, and I swear, if I can. Yeah. Okay, let's pause that, because this is real good. This is juicy. Okay, so if you can go back and tell your 18-year-old self, let's say 18-year-old, because that's probably the legal age of most people really start working and get for real little paychecks. I won't say 16, say 18. I've been working since the age of 14.
Yeah, that's fine.
But if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you say? What would you tell that 18-year-old young man right now about building money and how to start? I got it. It just dropped. That's so because somebody needs to.
I automating my savings, although I knew how to save. I wasn't automating. I was thinking about saving. I should have just set it on autopilot. Yeah. Didn't do that. I would have set up an automated investment plan, whether that was through my job. Well, that's a given, right? The 401k, your 403b, whatever job that comes with it. So that's already automated, and that's where it stems from. So I would say, well, if they're doing a retirement account for me, well, I need to also be investing outside of my retirement account. And I need to also automate that. So just like every 2 weeks, a little drop of money goes into that 401k, I also need to have an investment account where every time I get paid, a little money automatically goes into that bucket.
Right, right. I like.
Those are the big two that I think for a younger professional working, if we can learn to automate,
Mm-hmm.
you've now set a foundation. So as you continue to get older and earn more,
That's right.
then you just add more money. So if you're saving $100 at 18, by the time you're 21, let's say you finish school, you should be doing like $500. But you already used to doing 100. So
Right.
now the 1 to 5 isn't a big jump because again, you're not even gonna be thinking about it. You know,
Right.
I'm making way more money than I was at 18. Yeah, 500 seems easy. And somebody listening to this will say, man, I can't do 500 right now, and I'm grown. But I'll say this too, most kids don't have no bills. You
Right.
living at the house rent
Okay.
free. You
Exactly.
may put a little money, you may put a little money down on something to help out around the house, but generally speaking, most kids don't have a lot of bills. And let me give y'all a good example. Coco Golf won the U.S. Open, and they were like, "What should she do with her prize money?" And somebody was like, "Pay off debt." And she went and did that video and said, "I'm 19. I live at home. I ain't got no bills. I pocket all those millions." And it's that mindset of like when you don't have bills or a lot of responsibility, that's the best time to automate and build your foundation. See, Kim, the problem is we never built the foundation. We just kind of like did a little bit here, did this there, never had a plan. And then we started working, earning, living, inflating our lifestyle, earning. And we just kept that process going without ever getting back to the root cause of why we don't like talking about money, why we can't save more, why we can't invest. And so if we all had that conversation, honestly, with that first job you got,
Hmm.
very first job. Imagine somebody sat you down because I was 14 and a half when I started. I knew about FICA because I was like, I don't like her, but she was on that pace.
Mm-hmm.
Who is
Mm-hmm. Who is she?
she? And why? My
Mm-hmm.
mom and dad like
And why is she
taxes.
on there every time?
So
Just don't come off.
every time I can't get rid of her.
So I love that. I love the fact about automation, and if we would have had that knowledge, some of us that come from different cultures, they got that knowledge already. I mean, I used to see when I would go to the bank because I've been working for a long time, and I would see certain cultures and they would have their little kids at 4, 5, 6 going in their savings account. It's like, oh my God, this was foreign in the Black community, but you see it in other communities and other cultures. It's like, what is this? And they're up there putting money in savings and stuff. And it's like, what? We got lost in the shuffle somewhere. But I think this is really exciting, in terms of having these buckets and having things automated. The next step is what after that? You had mentioned the D word. So you've grown, you've had a couple of jobs, you had a couple of careers. What is your take on how do you share with people, young people or 20s, 30s, 40s, it doesn't matter, about the D word, which is debt? How to manage that and to make sure that it does not control and overtake your life. Because so many Americans are suffering from that. I had pulled up this Google article that the majority of a lot of people, if a catastrophe happened today, they would not be able to have it in their emergency fund savings. And I want to talk with you about that too, is having an emergency fund savings and how much you should have into that. But back to this question is just address that one quick second about the debt issue. Not a home mortgage, because we know that's good debt, but just in general, what's the underlying rule to that so it doesn't overtake you?
Oh, I got it. Have a plan for paying it off. That's it. I don't care what your debt repayment plan looks like, but have it down.
Yes.
Have discussed that plan with your financial planner, your coach, your whomever. It's an app, but you got to have a plan for it. See, we get upset about it, but the debt usually helps you have some fun, or it got you through school, it got you to house. So there's reasons for why you have the debt. So I think we need to acknowledge that, okay, I now got something for that money that I borrowed. I got to pay it back. Okay. How do I attack the debt appropriately?
Okay, I like that. I like
That's
that.
the key question.
Appropriately. That's the key word, appropriately.
Oh, I'll give you a real life example. the majority of people I have met have student loans. And if they were federal, they just had to start back paying,
Amen.
it was that whole, they kept kicking the bucket down. I was like, y'all gonna have to pay one day. And it's like, people were upset, but I was like, most of these student loans have a very low interest rate, very low in comparison to your credit card. And so I've had clients, and this is where I've said, you got to talk to somebody as you plan, because one of my clients got a bonus and their student loan was like $90,000. And they're like, Jasper, I want to use my bonus to pay down the debt. I was like, what you thinking about? I'm going to put down like 10 stacks, 10,000. I said, okay, so your debt goes from 90 to 80,000. Rock with me now, Kim. I said,
all right.
So you got this credit card for $2,000 that could go to zero, and you gonna pay 10,000 to go from 90 to 80. I said, tell me, and here's what I said. Tell me why that makes sense in your mind. And I just shut up. And they explained it. Well, I feel this way. It was the debt. And I said, great. I said, thank you. I acknowledge their feelings, because you got to do that. Don't bypass the feelings, because
That's right.
I've pissed people off doing it. So I was like, let's acknowledge, okay, the 90,000 bothers you, and I get it. It's a big number. But you could rid yourself of a credit card with a 24% rate today, and that rate is variable. You could go from 2,000 to zero.
I love it.
That's what she did. Kim, she was like,
and then the light came on. Then that's more money that you can pay towards your debt once you pay off that $2,000.
Kim, when those light bulbs, look, you don't need to be a genius to be a financial coach. It is literally more the psychological nature of, we've just been, I don't know if it's programmed, brainwashed, just beaten down. We just don't believe it's that simple. And when I tell people these simple strategies, they're like, but you've been doing this for a long time. I was like, yeah, I get that. But I also got bills. So I do the same. Look, I ain't out here living this crazy. The stuff that I preach, whether it's been my articles on my website, any blog post, the stuff that I talk about, I'm living it. Or I've got a client who just lived through it. So I'm trying to tell you, Mr. and Mrs. Person who may hear or see this, you ain't unique in terms of your financial struggles or challenges. There are millions of people who have almost the exact same issue. I'm paying down the wrong debt first. Kim, I have seen it 100 times when they're like, I'm gonna knock down this student loan. For what? I'm gonna knock down this mortgage. For, you got credit card debt. Prioritize the debt and then attack it. And you gotta attack it aggressively.
I love the fact that you're saying prioritize the debt and then attack it. And this is so essential, why it's important to have a financial planner. So on that note, why do you think so many people do not have a financial plan or planner? And we need to we need to employ you. We need to just say, hey, if you can have a good lawyer and you have a good doctor, you have a good insurance, or especially for self-employed people, we got to have a commercial insurance. Why is it that we don't have in alignment our financial planner? And that financial plan, like my insurance agent, I've been with him as long as the company, as long as I've been in business, as long as I'm going to be in business, I'm going to have them. So I'm just saying, just like your medical, what is this thing? Why we don't have financial planners?
I'll tell you why. Technology has made you think you can do it without us.
Okay.
That is the number one answer. As advancements in technology improve, we became less valuable. Now, you hit on the reason why. If your tooth hurt right now, bet money you're not going to go on and try to self-diagnose and do your own root canal, or you ain't playing with your mouth. You calling your dentist, even if you ain't got dental coverage, you going to the dentist to get that tooth fixed, to get that. So certain professions have been put on that pedestal. Financial planners are like right here. The doctor, the lawyer, the dentist, you name all the reputable professions. Financial planners are like, well, why do I need you when I got this app? Okay. Why do I need you when I can log in online and budget? Okay. Has the access to the information and tools actually helped you? Now, if the answer is yes, you are one of the small, or you're in that small percentage of what I call the do-it-yourselfers. You don't need me. Okay. There are Kim. There are plenty who will
Okay.
I have a lot of consulting clients that I just do a little check-in, but they do everything on their own. They will go open the accounts without me.
That's because they culturally raised that way. That's because they have the mindset that way. That's because they have the legacy of families that way, which most of us other cultures does not. So I like what you said on that. So let's role play. Let's move the needle
Yeah.
forward. So if someone was to say, how do they say, you know what, I do want to have a financial planner and I want to work with one, I want to employ one, and I want them to be like in my back pocket. They're in
Yep.
my front pocket first, but I want them to always be with me because as I grow, then they will help me grow and they would help me grow more. So let's change the mindset of that and to say, yes, we need a financial planner. So how does someone begin to work with you? How do you recommend? Give us the steps of that? Because I know
Yep.
there's going to be some women listening and say, you know what? I think I'm going to give Jasper a call. I think I do have a financial plan. So let's plant those seeds in the mind.
Yeah. So it starts with you being willing to tell yourself you need some help.
Okay.
It starts well in advance of you keep doing stuff, but you're not getting the results that you want. So you're not achieving goals, you're not doing things in a timely fashion. See, I'm in the business of people love to procrastinate, but it doesn't help them. So I'm gonna wait to save money, knowing you need to save. I'm gonna wait to start my retirement account, knowing you're gonna want to retire one day. So waiting in my industry usually does not help you.
Okay.
So I know there's this sense of, yeah, you may feel like people are trying to sell you, but the reason we're so, I'll say, assertive with how we deliver our message is, where has waiting got you? And I pause. Where has it gotten you?
That's good.
You want to play the
That's
Jeopardy music?
good.
So
That's good.
you
That's
keep
good.
saying you don't need me or any other wealth manager, insurance agent. Where has it gotten you? Are you satisfied with the progress you've made financially? And if you say yes, you have a great day. You keep on going. If you ever need a checkup, and that's how I back out of those meetings when somebody is definitively saying to me they're a do-it-yourselfer and they're getting their results. I back up because I'm like, yo, you're in that small percentage. Most people gonna lie right to my face. Nah, man, I got it. I'm gonna figure it out. I got it. I'm good. Okay. Can I check back up on you in 6 months?
So let's differentiate. So you have your investment planners and those, well, you have you have your investment planners or people who are in retirement or whatnot. They have investments and X amount of your fidelities, your X amount of money. And so they manage and market that and they get paid based on the types of money markets, the returns of investment
Yeah.
they get. They're charged a particular fee for that, what they make on that, that's how they get paid. Now, let's flip it back to financial planners. How do financial planners charge? Is it something monthly? Is a package? How does this grow? Give us a
it
synopsis of that because
I
a lot of
love that.
people are afraid because they don't know how you work. So
They do.
let's
So
simplify this right now.
I'm glad we here because
Yeah,
I spent one of my meetings just explaining
yeah.
you got options on who you decide to work with. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, well, depending on the level of service that you need will dictate what type of financial advisor or planner you need. So
Okay.
first, as a financial planner, I could do an analysis for you, Kim. I could make a nice, pretty report with colors and recommendations, and it's real thorough.
Mm-hmm,
And for that service only,
mm-hmm.
to give you clarity, I charge you a fee. And let's say the fee is $2,000. So, Kim, you're gonna pay me $2,000. I'm gonna do the homework. You got to give me some information, but I'm gonna produce a physical plan. I'm gonna print it out and bound it. It's gonna be digital, but you're gonna physically get Kim's clarity plan.
You're gonna extract.
What's Kim's money doing for her? Because she,
Okay, okay. I like that. I like that.
so whatever you've been doing
Okay,
from A to Z, I mean, and it's thorough, but all we do is charge a fee for the time we got to do all the analysis, and
fair
it's a
enough.
little back and forth about, Kim, what you really trying to do? Because I want to show you what it looks like. Like, if you're doing good, we're
Fair
going to
enough.
tell you
Fair.
that's one.
I get that. And
So
let's pause that for a second because I also have to make an analogy. That's like someone coming in to me, a holistic health coach or a doctor, and say, hey, I got this particular health issue. They're going to send you to a lab. The lab is going to cost you a fee. They're going to come back. If you with a consultant, you're going to pay their time and they're going to go over the record. Or your doctor goes over and you don't even know he's charging you a fee for that. So it's the same type of addition. They're giving you the information about your health so that your health can be optimal better. Now, this is what Jasper is doing about your finances. Number two, okay.
number two is, you're like, Jasper, thanks for the plan. So at that moment, you might have a cousin who's an advisor. Well, I'm gonna let my cousin get that investment account. I'm gonna let my cousin, but you may know a practitioner, but who doesn't do planning. So you may find people who just do transactional business. They manage assets, they may sell insurance, they may do a combination of the two.
Okay.
But after the plan, I may say, well, Kim, I'm licensed because I'm licensed to do investments and insurance business. So if you so choose to implement one of the recommendations with me, I will then get compensated for that investment account or the insurance business that we also do. So yeah, I can get paid twice.
Okay. I like that. I love it. Okay. So now we roll into from advising and a plan, because you're not Frankenstein walking in the woods. Now you got some clarity, and now you got a financial planner that's doing a few investments for you. So then what's step 3 after that?
Yep. So step 3 is let's say you got the plan and you bought something. So those were 2 different transactions. But
Right.
then you may just come to me and say, and this is where the titling gets a little funky.
Okay.
You got wealth managers, wealth advisors. So anybody who says wealth something else, generally, they only do investment business.
Got you. I'm
Generally,
so glad you're breaking this down. Woo, this is good.
so you alluded to it earlier. So there may be fees depending on what program they have you in. There could be transactional fees depending on how active of an investor you are. But I love the fee model based on the amount of assets you bring, because now we're not worried about the whole nickel and diamond every transaction buy sell. It's like, well, Kim, you got $50,000. So the fee is going to be, it might be 1%, a little bit more, but Kim, you're paying to have it professionally managed.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that again.
Yes.
Professionally, not you on your phone trying to be a day trader watching.
You didn't go there,
you didn't
go there, did you? Said day trader. He did.
You over here watching the internets, and I always like you watching the internet for a tip, but that's not really prudent investing. So the wealthiest people generally have somebody managing a large portion or all their investable assets.
Repeat
Generally,
that, Jasper. That was so on point. Say that one more time, people.
the wealthiest
Yes.
the wealthiest people are generally not managing their own investments,
Thank
or they're allowing somebody to manage a large portion. You can have your play money, but your play money is just for that, for play.
Right, right.
In the long run, you can watch. There's plenty of studies that have shown this. You are better off paying me a fee. In 10, 20 years, I will outperform your day trading. I know I'm gonna beat you. I can't say the G word because we can't say the G word. You don't say guarantees in my world of investing.
Totally.
But
Totally.
I'm willing to bet a hefty sum that if I put you in a professionally managed account with a fee, I'm gonna outperform you over time. And I know this because the individual investor doesn't have the time or the resources to keep up with professional organizations who do it every day. See you hop, skip, and jump as you a day trader today, you a mom or dad tomorrow.
So Jasper, we don't have time. We have to go build wealth. We gotta go out there, manage our business.
Wrong. No, Kim.
I don't have time to do that.
No, Kim, apparently y'all do. The world my number one reason as to why people will not meet with me, I'm too busy. Wow. So apparently they're too busy, Kim. They're too busy to have a meeting that could change their life. They're too busy and don't feel comfortable paying a fee. So you're willing to play around online and get minimal fees and get no service, no guidance, you get what you pay for. Let me say that.
So I always say we speak to the people who are looking for you. So let's speak to the people who are looking for you. I'm all about 5D. We speaking to the people that's listening to this podcast that's looking for you. So the fourth thing is, after we've done the analysis, you've done some investments. I just, when we get to that fourth and fifth step, how then do you become the planner? Because I think that's so important in changing the mindset of people, in particularly women. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Is just that we have to have the mindset. Okay, let me just say this. Just like you call your therapist, and I highly believe in therapy, by the way. If you have issues or concerns, or you've been working on something with your therapist, you're like, I'm going to call my therapist. That's a mindset. So it's the same thing with financial planner. I just got a raise. Let me call Jasper. I just came into some money. Let me call Jasper. It's just like we have to kind of like reframe our thinking. So how then
So
do
we
you
should.
suggest that so you should indeed to think that I have a financial planner in my Rolodex that's a part of my wellness building legacy circle here.
So here let me say this too, Kim. So the last thing I was gonna say is sometimes it's just a transaction. You
Okay.
know, I can sell what you need, like Jasper. I know you sell this, sell
Okay.
it to me.
Okay.
Transactional. So
Got
we take
That's it.
minimal information.
Okay.
Although I'm a financial planner, I can do transactional business. And I'll be honest, I've got some incredible clients where we started out as one transaction
Right.
that evolved into Jasper. I think I'm ready to do that planning thing you told me
Got you. And that's where I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to
about.
land to where that's first, that he becomes your planner or
I
changes
would,
the mindset.
Kim,
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So
That's what
all I say,
okay.
here's the key. Here's the game plan. When you take the time up front, and there is a time commitment, there's going to be an investment you need to make. But if you did a plan first, all the answers you're looking for financially fall out of the sky. It's almost like my that I say clarity on purpose because see, we keep doing the transactions and piecemealing stuff together. So by the time somebody comes to me, Kim, they're like, "Well, I've done some stuff." I'm like, "Show me," and I'm just like, "Who?" It's clear you ain't working with nobody. You done bought this. You ain't answering my questions thoroughly, and
Right,
so it's like
right, right.
I wish everybody would start with a plan, and a plan could be
Yeah.
simple
Yeah.
or complex based on your situation. So it's not some
Right. Cookie cutter with
cookie cutter.
individual.
Everybody, you get there's a similar process. That the process doesn't change.
Exactly.
You come in, tell me where it hurts. I'll tell you what I can do. We talk and discuss what's the best course of action. And so when I have an initial discovery meeting with somebody, I literally try to find out what is it that they need to get the momentum going.
Amen.
So I'm not the guy who I'm no longer naive because I know that people just don't want to talk about money. Like it's scary for a lot of people. So I generally will ask, is there one or two things we can get started with now that can get us moving in the right direction? Now that could be a plan, that could be a transaction. I mean, that could be an account for your
Got it.
kid. I mean, it could be anything. It's like I need to get you to a tax person, but I got to get you to get that momentum built up. So once we get in it, you start getting excited.
I love that. I love framework and I love that process. Now let's roll the dice and let's go from the end and reverse engineer. A lady comes to you and
Okay.
say, you know what? I'm close to retirement or whatever, 10 more working years. And just say,
Yeah.
I want to be able to have $1 million because in California, you're going to have a lot. Well, what about that aspect of saying, how much money do you want to
Yeah.
have? And then you reverse engineer to say, well, this is how much, or this is what your plan of action needs to be. Because I think that would course correct where you are in your life. Because if not, it's like,
So I love your example. Let's rock with that example. I'm 10 years out from retirement.
okay,
Here's the conversation. Have, need, gap. Have, need, gap. So Kim, you're 10 years out. Okay. How much you got right now? And it's a direct, it's just like I'm not even gonna sugar. If you say you got 10 years, you trying to chalk up the deuces, yo, what you got right now? And I need to see it. And whether that's an Excel spreadsheet, you scribble on some paper, just show me what you got. So I need to know what you got. Excuse me, what do you have? And then I say, well, Kim, what do you think you're gonna need to live this lifestyle in retirement? You can say, well, Jasper, my bills are roughly blah blah blah. I'm gonna say, cool, 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 cool. And then we're gonna figure out that third piece. What's the gap? What we trying to do, and what are our possibilities? And so for some, when you identify and show them the gap, I like it's like the first time reality set in that you've been playing around. And you can see it on their face, Ken. Like I've done the report, and then
that's
like we have the meet, whether it's in person or virtual, even if it's over the phone, I can hear in the tone of your voice, like,
it.
it,
That's it. And that's real. Right there is real. And that's really where we need it to be. That is so real. That is so real. And then the second scenario, you roll that dice with females that have been married, or maybe you're divorced. You could put any
Yep.
colorful scenario that it is, and now all of a sudden you don't have that second income, or you downsize, and it's like, how then now do you live? I've seen so many scenarios where people get divorced, and now the woman had two incomes. Now she has one. She can't have the lavish lifestyle
Yeah.
she used to. And it's like, how does one? I know you can't probably answer that in one question. Is to, I guess what I'm trying to ask is so that you could keep your lifestyle, or that you could be comfortable, that your money can make you money and make you money. So when you have a catastrophe in your life, or
Yeah.
a life-changing situation, it doesn't take you out the game.
Yeah. Ken, that's a hard one because
Yeah.
you have to be mindful that, again, there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes with a divorce, a death, a transition. We'll just call it a transition in life. Like when life changes, you
Yeah.
got this transition. You kind of got to start back from step one.
Okay.
Let me do the assessment. It's like assess the damage. So it's like assess what are the real pain points, and then what are like the ones you're like, all right, they're not that bad. And I think it's hard for people sometimes to differentiate between what's most important. So we talked about prioritization. When you go through a transition, you just ain't thinking right. And so it's like, let me help you. If, but only if you want to help. See, I started asking that question. That's why I'm from North Carolina. I'm from the South. Like I care genuinely. I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely care about people. But I
Mm-hmm.
had to start asking the question, do you even care? Because if not, we wasting our time today.
Yes.
So when I asked the question about what is it you're trying to accomplish, I didn't say, are you sure? Because if you come to if you come to the meeting with some bull, I'm gonna call it out and say, this ain't even reasonable. This don't make no sense.
Right.
But in your mind it does. So tell me what you think I can do aside from working magic. What could I like what I can't control the stock market, the real estate market, your spending habits, your kids calling you for money. I can't control certain things, but if I can help guide you into making better decisions, I
Absolutely.
think we'll have a chance. But you gotta be willing. And this is when I got somebody really good. I said, look at me as I'm the navigator and I got the map, and I'm gonna try my best to guide you on this journey to financial success, financial independence, whatever goal you classify. You are in the driver's seat.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
if I recommend or suggest you go to the right and you go left, I guess we're gonna end up in an accident, or you're not gonna achieve that goal, or you're gonna keep stressing out about your cash flow. You talked about an emergency fund. A
Right.
lot of people didn't start saving until after the pandemic started, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is why they say have an emergency fund." You think?
Yeah.
I don't think we needed a pandemic. If anybody's ever had car trouble, because I have. Every time I had car trouble, I ain't had no savings, and then when I started saving money, I ain't had no car trouble. So
Oh
you
my God.
count
Oh my goodness. And then on that note, I was going to ask you, that was on my note. How much should you put away for your savings, or how should
a
a
lot.
savings fund be, like one
Uh,
salary, or, just
so the general rule is always rules of thumb in my industry. First, it was 3 months, then it was 4 to 6, then it was have a year's worth. Look, it's up to you to figure out. I like the 3 to 4 months at a minimum.
the minimum?
Minimum.
Right.
If I can't get into a year, Kim, I get to like 6 months and then I actually have an emergency and then I tap my reserves. But my goal is always, if I had to take a whole year off, but all I could do is pay my bills for a year, that's the number you want in your emergency fund. So cut out all the fun you ain't take. Let's say you lost your job, you ain't going nowhere, but can you pay your bills and live your lifestyle?
I think that's
Answer is yes, then you have saved enough.
I think that's the answer right there. Grow it to it is 1 year. Because what we saw from this pandemic, man, I hope we would never have to go through that. A lot of us had to go through our own savings. So, now we're in a rebuilding status. So I think that's very vital, very important. I think that's a good new general up the level, is just put together a year so that if something was to happen, you could take care of yourself for one for a year. On that note, I gotta mention this before we close out the podcast. This has been so good. Please explain this beautiful movement that you're doing called Build Wealth Movement. Share a little bit about that, Jasper, before we close out the show.
I want to change the way people think and feel about money. I don't know what solution you need before I meet you, but I love hearing your story and figuring out, are you thinking the right way? And are you addressing the feelings that come with having money or not having it? That's what I'm trying to figure out with this movement. And I want people to feel, I just want you to feel like you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
And
Love
I'm not looking for so even in my I got merch, right? So on one of my t-shirts, I have progress, there's a line, and then there's perfection. So it's like, I just want you making progress. Yeah, we're gonna have setbacks. Life gonna get in the way. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna look, that's expected. Live long enough, something gonna happen to you.
right.
Don't know what, but just keep living. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
act as if you're gonna live for a long time and know that if I keep living, I'm gonna want to have certain amounts of money in my bank account, or I desire to have that. But I've got to, one of the hardest things for people to do is to look themselves in the mirror and be 100% transparent. And I ask all of my clients, prospective clients, when I'm at a workshop, I'm like, y'all stop lying to me, because y'all keep telling me what you're gonna do, and then I see you like months later and you've done nothing. So it wasn't my, it can't be me, because the advice that I give works for the people who listen and execute, even if you never call me back.
And on that note, you have a book that you can get on Kindle as well as Amazon, and it's called The Build the Wealth Challenge. And it is 8 challenges to change the way you think and feel about money. So, share with us a little bit about that book. And you also said people who are listening to the podcast, the first 10 people that respond back, you will send them a Kindle link to get your book. Okay.
Facts.
I got you. Facts. I got
Yeah.
you. I read the notes. So share us a little bit. So share us a little bit. I'm so proud of you about this, and I actually have been reading the book. Share a little bit about that, because I want everybody to download his book. I really do.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
so
book was, like people say, I just had to do it because I kept saying the same stuff that's in that book. And I would do a workshop, a volunteer event, and people kept saying, well, where do I start? I was like, well, first, let me ask you some questions that I think are pretty kind of rudimentary in this whole. I need you to be honest with yourself. And that's why I call them the challenge questions, because you're challenging yourself. If you lie after reading my book, I cannot help you, and nobody can. But I wish you the best. And so the 8 questions were just foundational in nature.
okay.
What is your response to these foundational questions? And if they're not like strongly agree, we probably need to have a comment. Let's figure out why we're not answering this question appropriately, and let's start right there. So you don't need to answer all 8. If you don't like the answer or your response to the first one, we should probably talk. We should probably talk. Don't even worry about the other 7. And my book will take you all of what, 45 minutes, if that. I read slow. So it took me 45 minutes. I read slow. But maybe you just read a chapter and sit on it for a week. Like do an 8-week challenge. And in week 1, you read the very first chapter and say, let me think about this. 8 questions. That's for you.
This is beautiful, because this is going to go out. Actually, I'm gonna put this in my I'm gonna put this in my easing today, and this I actually gonna put the notes in the podcast, so people are going to be downloading this. And
I
this is
hope
so
so. Yeah.
timely, Jasper, because what is coming up, the next biggest season of the year, and so people get happy, they start buying, they start shopping gifts, they start charging up debt, and then all of a sudden January come, and
Broke as a joke.
they hit the blues, just to hit the blues. And I think this is a new season, a new dispensation on even how you think about gift giving. That's a different podcast, so so that's a different one. That's a different one when you look at what you got to pay out in terms of your credit cards come January. But Jasper, leave us with 3 tips on what you would like to share or to add about building wealth, or even for women, as we close out the show. Last 3 things that you would like to share.
So a couple things. So the first is you have to build what I call your money team.
Okay.
I don't do what I do by myself. I'm a financial planner, but I got a team of professionals that I hire to help me stay on point. So no matter where you are on your build wealth journey, you have to have a few good people. Maybe some of y'all need 10, others need 5, maybe you got 2 or 3, but you got to build a team of experts around you so you can stay working in your passion. I don't think about a lot of my stuff because all I do is call my expert. Hey, got a question. Hey, I got to do this. Help me. Help.
I love it.
Like, I don't wait. So build your money team. Once you've had meetings with your financial money team, execute, 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 execute. Stop going to these webinars that are free and then doing nothing with the information. You got to put it into place. So I'm big on you learn what you need, you know you can do it, do it. So you got to execute. We're in the fourth quarter, right? So 2023 is almost over. What haven't you gotten done this year that's on your financial planning to-do list? Let's get some of those done and not carry them into 2024. And then the last thing, work hard until expensive becomes cheap.
I love it. Work hard until, and you got a t-shirt about that too. You got that paraphernalia. Work hard until expensive become cheap. And how do you mean that to be?
There's something you're like, ooh, I can't afford that. Make that your goal to make enough, earn enough, save enough, invest enough, do enough business deals to where when that thing pops up again, you're like, we out. I ain't thinking twice. I got the money. So here's the example, Kim.
That's game plan. Is that a game changer? That's a game changer right there. That's a game changer.
I started doing that because people always ask, well, why are you so like hungry to build your business? I said, because I'm trying to live a certain way and I can't afford the lifestyle that I dream about. I can't afford the lifestyle that I fantasize about. I can't live the lifestyle that I know my wife wants and my daughter wants. I said, so I got to keep grinding because there's going to be a day when I'm like, it's nothing. And when you get to that level, that's when you know you've put a plan in place, you've executed the plan, and then you got to keep updating things, but you got to keep working hard until expensive becomes cheap.
Oh my God, Jasper, this has been so incredible, just juicy, worthy, wonderful. I wish I would have heard this when I was 14 and a half. I would be a millionaire right now. But but this has been so good. And I love the fact that you build your money team, you execute your plan, and you work hard until expensive become cheap, ladies and gentlemen. So on that note, Jasper also has a call of action for you all that what did you want to talk about? I think you have a free gift and it's called Let's Talk Money.
Let's talk money. So let's just talk for a half hour. Let's have a real honest conversation about where you are and what you're trying to do. And Kim's gonna have a link to send out to everybody. And I'm gonna report back to you how many people schedule the free time and keep the meeting. Because to keep the meetings, everybody signs up because it's free, and then people tend to not show up. So I'm like, I find that although it's only a half an hour, you'd be surprised how much you can accomplish in 30 minutes. You'd be surprised. Like, it might blow your mind how much we can accomplish in 30 minutes. And again, you are not obligated. I say this all the time. You are not obligated to work with me. There are other financial planners, advisors, insurance agents, retirement specialists. You have options. Maybe I'm just the first step on your journey. So maybe I play a small role by having a chat with you. And then you can tell me, or we can decide as a unit, is this a good fit? Is there something we need to do? But I'm going to give you a half hour on the house. And I want to see if you take advantage of a real talk about money. And if not, I wish you the best. But Kim, the offer has been made. I hope to see my calendar blow up with these 30-minute meetings. But I will definitely report back in and let you know kind of the response of if people kept the meeting or signed up, and if they kept them. I'll report back and let you know.
Well, there you are, and there you have it. And on that note, and when you actually call him to book it, tell him that you heard it on the podcast show from Two Gorgeous, y'all. He is giving you a free 30 minutes. Let's talk money with Jasper Smith. Thank you so much, Jasper. It has been welcoming. Thank you so
Thank you,
much
Kim.
for your time and effort, for being on the show. It has been a blessing. And you all, thank you so much for listening to this podcast show. And actually, if you have been blessed and you've enjoyed some of these nuggets, please share it out. For those of you who would like to have more information about me, you could go to kimgems.com. I also have a free strategy called Coaching Session 2. It will be in the show notes. And another way how you can work with me is also to sign up for my coaching program, which is on my website as well. So until we meet again, God bless you guys. And thank you so much for listening to Inspired Conversations podcast show with Kim Evans. Bye for now.